And we are recording.
And we are starting. Okay, the time is 6 p.m. At this time, I would like to call the Suamico Village Board meeting for Monday, August 4th, 2025, to order. I would look for a motion now to approve the evening's agenda. I have a motion from trustee Stevens to approve the agenda. I'll second that motion to approve the agenda. Are there any questions or comments with regard to the agenda this evening? Concerns? Hearing none, all those in favor of approving the evening's agenda as before us, please say aye.
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 And those opposed? That motion carries 7-0. Let's stand and say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Item number 5 this evening is, as it always is, public appearances. Anyone in the audience who wishes to come forward and speak to an item not on the agenda, this is your opportunity to do so. Just be reminded, please provide your name and address before telling us what's on your mind. There may be no action on this item this evening. However, it could be referred back to staff for future reference. Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to speak to this item? I see no one. All right, therefore, we will move on. Item number 6 this evening is the consent agenda. The consent agenda consists of item A, previous minutes of the village board meeting dated July 21st, 2025. The item B, May 2025 animal control report. Item C, temporary Class B beer and Class B wine licenses for St. Benedict Parish Annual Picnic and Car Show on August 10th, 2025 at 3370 West Deerfield Avenue. Item D, temporary Class B beer license for St. Edward and Isidore Harvest Fest Church Picnic on August 17th, 2025 at 3667 Flintville Road. And item E, appointment to Planning Commission term through May of 2027. Are there any comments or questions with regard to the consent agenda?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Thank you. So we have a motion from trustee Eckert to approve the evening's consent agenda. That has been seconded by trustee Romas. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 And those opposed? That motion also carries 7-0. All right, that brings us to some of the highlights of our evening. Item number 7, administration items. Item 7A is the Golden Acres Development Agreement. And Minister Kaker, take it away.
Thank you. So the developer reached out today and requested that this be tabled, and they plan on bringing it back around this time next year. So
Motion.
no action is needed by the village board on this, and we can move on to the next agenda.
We don't need a motion to take.
Don't need to.
Okay. So per the developer's request, the item is tabled. So now moving on to item 7B, which is the Comprehensive Plan Subcommittee Member Selection. Administrator Kaker.
Thank you. So the village board requested that staff reach out and solicit applications for the comprehensive plan subcommittee. That was completed. We received a total of actually 6 applications. We had one come in after the deadline. And so there are 6 members for the board to consider. And it's at the will of the board as to who you appoint. There was one not included in our packet then? They're all included in the packet.
Oh, they are. Okay, very good. And then do we still have the one that's non-resident?
Correct.
Okay, so one question. Is there anything preventing a non-resident from coming and speaking, providing input on the comprehensive plan?
Nope.
Okay. Okay. I mean, so I guess my point is, I get that we should keep it just for residents, but they can come here anyway. What's the difference?
Voting. How to vote.
Voting as far
A
as,
voting right in the subcommittee.
so a non-resident could vote in the subcommittee. So that vote is a recommendation then to the Planning and Zoning Committee. So you would have a non-resident voting, okay. Then I
That's the
guess
difference.
I see the point. So assuming then that anybody who comes and speaks, they don't have the voting option. Makes sense. Okay. Thank you for the clarification.
I'm fine with anybody that's a Suamico resident.
As am I.
So is there any other comments, questions, discussion on this? Otherwise, we can look for a motion. So I'll offer a motion. I'll offer a motion to approve the subcommittee members as applied under the proviso that they have a village residency, given the voting contingency that goes with their appointment to the committee. You know, I want to extend our thanks to Ms. Sylvester for putting her application in, but I do agree that, you know, given that there is a voting contingency, it should be residents. So that's my, okay, thank you.
Just
So-
as a, sorry to interrupt,
Yeah.
just a point of clarification. So there are 5 residents who submitted their application. Initially, the board discussed having 4. You're welcome to have 5. I just wanted to make sure that you're clear that the motion as presented would have all 5.
Yep.
I don't have any problem with 5.
I'm good
Does
with that.
Anybody else have a
That's
problem
nice.
with 5?
We have one that is, appears the husband, wife, are you counting those as 2?
Yep.
No issues?
Nope.
Okay, so there's a motion on the floor to approve the 5, approve the applications for committee representation, provided they have residency. Extend our thanks to the applicant who isn't a resident and encourage them, obviously, they can come. That motion has been brought and seconded by trustee McKeefery. Any other further questions or discussion on this? All right, all those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And those opposed? That motion carries 7-0. Excellent. All right. Finance Department items, second quarter 2025 financial summary. Director Demeny, the floor is yours.
Thank you. So included in your packet was the general fund quarterly financial report for the period ending June 30th, 2025. This is a summary of current year budget to actual, as well as 2024 and 2023 budget to actual. The line-by-line detail of the current year revenues and expenses was included in the monthly treasurer's report that was presented at the last meeting. Overall, the current year budget to actual revenues, excluding taxes, are under the expected 50%, which is 6 months of the year. However, it is primarily due to timing issues in state funding that gets dispersed in July, such as the shared revenue and transportation aids. So for this reason, there's no concern with where the revenues are at through June 30th. The current year budget to actual expenditures in most categories are at or below the expected 50%. So while Health and Human Services shows it's over the 50%, the actual dollar value is only like $300. So there's really nothing of concern there. The cemetery had some additional expenses compared to normal this year with the purchase of supplies for winter burials, as well as GIS support. So the operating transfers out are a result of excess fund balance from the 2024 audit, transferring that to the equipment replacement reserve. Overall, similar to the revenues, there's no concern with the balances through June 30th. In comparing current year to prior year actuals, the areas worth mentioning really haven't changed from the first quarter. The revaluations included in there with the first 3 payments, 3 of 4, happening before June 30th. And same as we talked last quarter, the village computer replacements occurred earlier in the year than normal. So no potential motion, just information only, if you guys have any questions.
Any questions for Director Demeny?
Those cemetery expenses, is that more for Public Works to be able to do the job?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Okay. And does that come out of their account, or?
It hits cemetery expense lines, but it's all part of the general fund.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I appreciate your explanations. I mean, that's something that we always look at, you know, on a quarterly basis, and also, you know, obviously, looking at where our revenues and some of our expenses are at this time. So your explanation is helpful. Thank you.
Yep.
Otherwise, we'd be really losing our
Sure.
minds right now.
Yeah.
All right, everybody good? Thank you. Okay, we're going to move on then. We're going to move on to item number 9 this evening, which is the Public Works item. Item 9A this evening is the East Deerfield Avenue extension of utilities, as brought up by trustee Eckert last week, and this is Director Smits.
All right, thank
2
you.
weeks ago.
Following last meeting, we were looking at some additional work on East Deerfield Avenue, trying to utilize the TID funding before the expenditure period closes. The village is planning to use TID 1 funds in 2026 to support the construction of Deerfield Court, and after last meeting, the south portion of asphalt on East Deerfield. With those two parts of the project, the cost is estimated to be around $600,000. I kind of broke out the project based on the request last meeting into 4 parts. Part A, East Deerfield, the south end asphalt. Part B, the north end, just the asphalt. Part C, the sewer extension from where we left off in 2023. And Part D, Deerfield Court. So keep in mind Deerfield Court, half of that would be developer funded, so that's why you see the 276 for our estimated cost for that part of the project. The TID is projected to close with a fund balance of around 2.2 million, but committing projects to that dollar value may be too aggressive. A contract for any work performed in 2026 needs to be signed this year, so that doesn't leave a whole lot of time for design, bidding, and awarding the project. We put together a map so everybody can kind of see where things are at as far as utilities and what asphalt would need to be replaced. So open it up for discussion and answer any questions.
No, we talked earlier, and talking about maybe being too aggressive and that we may not want to take that chance. I'm wondering, can we still do the sewer extension and maybe hold off on paving the north side
We can do any combination.
as a possibility? Because the TIF is kind of what that, when is that sewer extension ever going to occur if it doesn't there?
I believe would be at the time of demand for development of that SU 612. Nobody to
So
the
it may never
south
happen.
would
Thoughts?
really benefit.
Who would pay for that then?
Be the developer.
The developer then.
So if that area doesn't have sewer, and we don't pay for it now, or don't use TID dollars for it, then basically anybody who wants to develop in that area and wants sewer and water is going to have to cover that expense. So let me ask your opinion. You probably know what I'm going to ask. What type of impediment, in your opinion, or maybe this is better for the village administrator given his vast experience?
He's pretty good.
Okay.
Steve Dunks is even better.
Oh, wow. He was so quiet, I forgot to ask him over there. I'll throw it out to staff.
Yeah.
In staff's opinion, what is the impediment of growth, or what would you foresee as the impediment to growth if we were not to develop that with TID dollars, with the sewer?
I see it struggling to develop if you don't have public sewer there. There's no way somebody can pay to make the improvements and develop that site and flip $600,000 to get sewer there. So water is available is already on the entire section, just so everybody understands that water's present along all of East Deerfield. It's just the sewer is lacking, north of GFL.
Well, and I'm just thinking, if that developer or whoever would decide to want to develop it and put in sewer, you're going to be ripping up your road. Put it in with the sewer, and then down the line, we could pave that part on the north side without having to rip in any new asphalt.
Yeah,
Just a
It's
thought.
a gamble because we don't know what that property holds. We don't know how.
I'm
they're-
just saying, so we don't spend the whole load of it because we don't know what the TIF will be worth in the end.
And that's
Well,
kind of what we
so
talked about is-
is it a risk to do all of it? Sure, but I think it's a rather safe.
It's a safe
I mean, We've
risk.
seen year over year the value of that TID increase. So something in the next couple of years would have to happen that significantly decreases the value of the TID, and I just don't see that happening. So yes, you're getting kind of close in terms of using all of the available TID funds, but I think it has enough to support it, and if I was a betting person, I would think that you're going to be safe enough to cover all those projects if you so choose.
I'm not a betting person, but I think I'm willing to go for it if you think it's,
And we could always, we have a 10% contingency in our estimate, so that's $200,000 depending, you need that in the project, but that may be money not spent. But also, we could bid a whole project out and see where it comes back. If we have to cut a part, you can always cut a part. It doesn't hurt to bid it out. And if it comes back
So
at
then
1.8, we're good. If it comes back at 2.5, we know we're, got to look at it a little closer.
I just think either way, finish the sewer. If we need to cut it at all, just that little piece of the north side, you could probably catch it when Arbor Lights is done. I don't know. But if you're thinking it's an acceptable risk,
I would think so.
what happens if we spent more than we gain when the TIF is closed
You would need to cover it with your general fund.
with the general fund? Which you look worried, Katie. Am I?
And you have different sources within your general fund. So for example, we have the debt stabilization fund. I think that has over $500,000 in it that's not currently allocated for anything. So absolutely worst case scenario, if you go over by a couple $100,000, you would have funds available within the general fund to cover that cost. And you know that you've got to do that portion of East Deerfield eventually anyway. That's going to be coming out of the general fund. So you're just moving up the timeline for when you pay for those costs.
But the district right now, currently, as it stands, is set to complete at $2.2 million
Projected.
projected. So by my estimation, if we were to not do the north side, we're looking at probably about 1.3 without contingency.
Somewhere around there.
I mean, within,
Yep.
so that gives us $800,000.
Oh, so we're safe either way.
That's 1.3 if we don't do
Safe-ish.
the north. Well, as safe as you can be, right?
Yeah.
I mean, but my point is, even without any additional economic development, we are still at 2.2 right now when this closes. If we get additional
Yeah.
economic development, that's what we're banking. So here's where I was going with that. Thinking in the back of my, apocalyptic mind, right? If the economy takes a major downturn and we don't have this, building taking place and it becomes, undesirable, we still finish at 2.2. So really the risk, I think, Trustee Eckert, is how close do we want to push that envelope to that 2.2? The expense, when you look at the expense for North Deerfield for Blacktop, man, that's $511,000. That's a lot of dough.
If you need to trim it for now, I would say that would be the thing you do. I mean, we also should let the businesses know what our intent is.
So that's something that we haven't talked about yet. When we extended the sewer just south of that area, we had let those business owners know 3-4 years in advance that this is coming. We haven't approached the current existing businesses north of that. That might be something that the board, and you don't have to decide that tonight, but might be something where you say, hey, we're going to give you a 2-year opportunity to connect, because otherwise I think it's a 6-month per our code that you have to connect to sewer once sewer is available to your property. So that would be our next step internally, is to go talk to these business owners and let them know that the village is intending on moving forward with extending sewer in front of their property, get their feedback, and then before the board actually approves the project, we can let you know what their feedback is. And I'm just trying to go one step ahead and say, well, maybe the board could offer some leniency. Not saying you don't have to connect, but maybe a 2-year
That's fair.
period of time.
That's very
We did a
fair.
1 year on
Yeah.
the previous.
Did we do a 1
Yeah,
year?
we did 1 year and we're
But they
some,
also had a lot of heads up on that too.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, for businesses, though, you're talking to them about doing it, and then you're giving them a year or something. I mean, I think 2 years is fair, just to, whatever you guys think. And see what their feedback is, right? They might
Maybe
be
they'll
really.
be happy.
What's that?
Maybe they'll be happy about it.
Yeah, maybe.
Well, their property will be worth more if they sell it.
But there's an expense to putting it in that
There
they
is.
haven't planned for.
There is.
But most of them, I believe, are holding tanks out in front of the building. I don't think anybody has a standard septic in there. I could be wrong on that, but most of them asked for holding tanks on anticipation of sewer coming through 20 years ago. I know well, you probably don't even know which one the Monte Young building was, but I know that one's a holding tank. I'm trying to think of which other ones are there, but I know we had to sign off on a couple of them for holding tanks rather than.
So what's the consensus of the board? How does the board feel? Do you want to, hold off on the north side at 511,000? I mean, the total expense that we would have here would probably put us at about 1.8 1.8, maybe 1.9, I'm thinking, to do the whole thing, and we've got 2.2, a 10% contingency on that, you know, puts us right around 200. Sorry, 2 million?
I'm leaning toward the whole thing, because that's what a TIF is for.
Right out of my mouth. Perfect. That's the whole purpose of the TIF. Right, is to get it ready for a company to come in and connect. So,
Other
And you
thoughts
do
from
have a
others?
warehouse out there that's already received state plan approval for a 10,000 square foot building on one of them just to the south of Deerfield Court. They haven't pulled any local permits with us, but they did get state approval for footings and foundation last week, so we do have more development coming into there, and this is only gonna help. We've had a lot of interest on the Russ Chrisman property, it's just expenses and stuff that held that back, but having sewer there is gonna be a big difference than,
But that's on Deerfield Court, that would happen anyway.
no.
Oh, okay.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying, your TIF is, you were talking about the TIF was stale with any future development. You're not gonna get extra funds. Well, you're gonna have a project started yet this year in there for a 10,000 square foot.
And but
Retail and warehouse.
they're gonna have sewer and water anyway, so.
They're gonna have sewer
We're
and
not
water
affecting
anyway.
them, yeah.
But I mean, the more
Adding
rooftops,
to that fund
I'm
balance.
adding to that fund balance. Your fund balance is gonna
That's the
get
point.
healthier.
Okay,
Because that's, unless the bottom falls out, that's already received state approval for footings and foundations, so I expect to see that permit in the next couple of weeks.
okay.
How much of the lots, SU 613, 612, how many acres are developable in there? Because there's a lot of wetlands. right?
I'd say maybe like 8 to 10 off the
They're
front.
working on it.
Well, there was a wetland delineation on 612 a number of years ago. I think it was around 7 or 8 acres, but they've been trying to drain that. And I'm assuming they're going to do another delineation pretty soon.
Yes, they-
613 is even less, even though it's a larger area. I think it's maybe 4 or 5 acres.
Well, 613's not in the TIF.
Correct. But it's gonna be impacted by all this.
Oh, yes. 612, they put drain tile in and whatnot because it's an ag use, they're allowed to do that, and that will dry it out. Whether that'll affect a future wetland determination is yet to be seen, but that's their goal.
So when this is all said and done, what I'm hearing is 8 acres will be developable with the sewer?
There's currently 8, and if they can get it, if the drain tile does what they're hoping it will do, they will add to that.
Approximately how much?
That's a
Here's
crapshoot.
what I'm trying to do is an ROI in my head. Because, you know, we're gonna spend, I'm in favor of what's being said here. I'm just trying to think of what's the ROI on $600,000? Because if we're only gonna develop 8 acres, I'm like, that's a lot of money for industrial property for $600,000. You know, so I'm just trying to answer that question in my head.
I mean, you'll add the 4 lots or the 4 existing parcels that are
right there.
currently there, plus whatever happens on this. So you're gaining, 5 customers at a minimum.
Right.
Well, 6, because Chrisman property will be able to hook too.
So it's a very preliminary drawing you have there. Didn't do a site survey or nothing yet to make sure we can get that far, but it's gonna be close. But they could always pump it from their property or debt development into our sanitary.
I mean, whatever the funds there, if we chose to do nothing, we would be assisting the school district primarily.
Right.
And we would reap some benefit as a village, from, but not nearly. What gets me on this whole thing is the complete dead end that this becomes if we don't put sewer in there. I mean, and I don't know, a lot of you guys, we've experienced that dead end for a number of years here and watched what happened there.
I guess I would be in favor of trying to make this all happen at once.
yeah.
You know, if you're gonna tear the place up, let's do it.
And then we can
and
fix
turn
it.
this into, it's a really nice industrial.
I mean,
This is the last chance we got here.
it was like a Deming statement, if it's not broke, break it. Yeah.
It's the opportunity to get more users on and more development.
Is there anybody who has a negative on this? All right, well, let's put together a motion. I mean, I can offer a motion to move forward to approve the parts A, B, and we already approved D, right?
Yep.
So approve, go out and get the additional bids for parts A, B, and C as stated here, utilizing TIF dollars to complete the sewer and water and asphalt on the north end.
I'll second.
So I have offered a motion, and that motion has been seconded by trustee Romas. Any last-minute thoughts? Let's do a roll call, for fun. Because it's a big spend, right?
It is. There's no doubt. All right. Let's see. Trustee Andrews.
Aye.
Trustee Eckert.
Aye.
Trustee McKeefery.
Aye.
Trustee Neto.
Aye.
Trustee Romas.
Aye.
Trustee Stevens.
Aye.
President Van Rossum.
Aye.
Motion carries 7-0.
There we go. Okay, terrific. Now, that'll be coming back to the board with the bid.
Yeah. So I don't know, Andy, when you would anticipate that, but there's a lot of work to do,
Yeah.
especially on the sewer.
Yep,
Sorry, Andy.
no problem.
Don't
We'll
cancel your
We'll
vacation.
probably leverage some consultants to help move that along as well.
It'll be a fun project.
Yep.
Oh, that'll be really exciting when it's done, though. I mean, that means everything, I think, for that area. Item number 10, fire department items. Item number 10 this evening is, item number 10, Resolution 25016, thanking Wisconsin Public Service Foundation for a donation. Chief Bertler.
Thank you. Grant writer Ben Rogers in the fire department applied for the Wisconsin Public Service Foundation grant and were successfully awarded $2,000 for some additional water rescue equipment that we were lacking from the last grant. So this would secure kind of everything we need. Just looking for a motion to approve Resolution 25016, accepting and thanking the Wisconsin Public Service Foundation.
We'll certainly appreciate their donation. It seems like we've been getting a lot of fire department donations. It must have been a really good
It's
picnic.
been our year, so,
Must have
which
been a
is
really
good.
good picnic.
And this is
Literally, you're on
something you
fire.
requested?
Yeah,
or-
it's, they do it annually. We can apply for it every 2 years if we get it like.
And it's
this
what
year.
you were looking for?
Yeah,
and
it's a water rescue basket, kind of completes what we need for the boat, so,
You got a place to put it?
Yep.
Okay.
yep.
So is there a motion for approving Resolution 25016? I can offer that. I'll offer a motion accepting the grant from the Wisconsin Public Service Foundation for a water rescue basket in the amount of $2,000. Is there a second?
Second.
I have a second from trustee Andrews, way down on the end. Anybody else? No? Let's do a roll call, please.
Absolutely. Trustee Eckert.
Aye.
Trustee McKeefery. Aye. Trustee Neto.
Aye.
Trustee Romas.
Aye.
Trustee Stevens.
Aye.
Trustee Andrews.
Aye.
President Van Rossum.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously 7-0.
Thank you.
All right, that brings us to item 11 this evening, which is discussion on future agenda items. We do have a closed session that we'll have to convene. Is there anyone who has a discussion or wants to bring up an item for a future agenda? No? Then I would look for a motion to move into closed session. We'll convene into closed session for item A per Wisconsin State Statute 19.85, parent 1, parent C, considering employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation data of a public employee over which the government body has jurisdiction or exercises responsibility. One, the annual village administrator performance review. Item B, per Wisconsin statute 1985, parent 1, parent E, deliberating or negotiating the purchasing of public properties, the investing of public funds, or conducting other specific public business whenever competitive or bargaining reasons require a closed session. Item 1 this evening and only is the union bargaining. Is there a motion to move into closed session for those items?
Motion to move into closed session.
Thank you. Trustee Eckert has moved for a motion to move into closed session to address items A and B as stated. That has been seconded by trustee Romas. All right. All those in favor of moving into closed session?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, let's move into closed session. Thank you. Congratulations, Mr. Crawley. Welcome to the jungle.
Good luck, Mr. Cakes.
Were you guys counting on donuts tomorrow? No, haven't seen one yet. All right. Oh, hasn't seen one yet.